Mindset, a daily dose of practical wit and wisdom with a professional educator and trainer, Amazon best-selling author, United States Marine, television and radio host, Paul G. Markel. Each episode will focus on positive and productive ways to strengthen your mindset and help you improve your relationships, career goals, and overall well-being. Please welcome your host, Paul G. Markel.
Hello, welcome back to Morning Mindset. I am your host, Paul Markel, and I am going to continue right now with the Morning Mindset book study as we have been doing for this many weeks. And today's section is chapter 19, and it is Give Them a Lagniappe. And this is when I get to introduce you, especially you Northern Yankees, to a little bit of Gulf Coast, Mississippi, Louisiana, Cajun influence, little Cajun Creole Ligety there. Now, I've lived all over the United States of America. I lived in the north, south, east, and west. And for about 10 years, I lived in the south on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, which is right next to Louisiana. So there's a very strong Cajun Southern Louisiana influence down there. And I started working as a military contractor, and I worked with a bunch of folks who had lived in that area, in the southern area, for a while. And one of the guys I worked with, he used to use this phrase, Lagniappe. And for those of you who are just listening and not reading along, Lagniappe is spelled Lagniappe. And if no one ever pronounced that for you, you probably said, what is a Lagniappe? And I said to my friend Bill, he kept using the term Lagniappe, and I said, what is that? And he said, well, loosely translated, it means a little something extra. Now, if you look it up on the computer, Google search, it'll tell you that the origin is from a small present that was gifted by merchants to their customers and so forth. But essentially, what a Lagniappe means is giving someone a little more than they paid for, a little more than they expected, a little bit more than you're required to give them. And that was a fantastic lesson for me and my fellow instructors when I was working as a military contractor. One of the things that I did is I was a small arms and tactics instructor. And I would have every month, every 2 weeks, but we would get new classes of students. So I literally encountered thousands of people, thousands of young people and older people in the military over a period of several years. So what I was able to do for those folks, in what I tried to do when I would get up on the platform to give a period of instruction, or if we were out at the range, or if we were out in the field, I made it my mission to always ensure that I gave the students, the troops, a little bit something extra, a little bit more than I was required to. Not just what was in the 3-ring binder or on the PowerPoint, and then that was it, because a lot of people will do that. A lot of folks say, well, it says in the 3-ring binder that we have to go over A, B, and C, 1, 2, and 3. And once I've done that, once I've completed that mission, I'm done. I don't need to talk to these people anymore. I'm out of here. Or a PowerPoint, It's a 47-slide PowerPoint, and when I finish that PowerPoint, my period of instruction is over, and they can go away, and I'm going to go smoke a cigarette, or I'm going to go drink a cup of coffee, or I'm going to do whatever, right? When I was in the United States Marine Corps many moons ago, and when I was going through infantry school, we had a sergeant that was in charge of the assault section, and that's what I was in. I was in the assault section. And the sergeant that was in charge of us, his name was Sergeant Sizemore, Fred Sizemore to be specific. And Fred Sizemore, I didn't realize it at the time, but he gave us more than he was required to. Now, in infantry school, when you're in a platoon or a section, you're normally assigned an NCO, a sergeant or a staff sergeant, and they oversee you. They're kind of like your babysitter. They make sure you go where you need to go. You go to the classes, you go to the field, you have what you need to have. They are in charge of making sure that you are where you're supposed to be. And that's their prime directive. And some of them are also instructors, and they teach various periods of instruction, whether it's in the field or the classroom. But many of them are just, well, they're kind of like glorified babysitters, right? They make sure that you're where you're supposed to be and that you don't get in trouble and all that. But Sergeant Sizemore frequently, in addition to being our overseer and making sure that we behaved ourselves and did what we were supposed to do and went where we were supposed to go, he would sit us down, whether it was in the barracks or in the field, and he would he'd say, "School circle, get over here, sit down." And he would lay some practical knowledge on us. We were all young. We were 18, 19, 20-year-old privates and PFCs, and we were brand new to the Marine Corps, brand new to the infantry, and he'd been there, done that, and gotten the T-shirt. And so what he did is he gave us not just what was prescribed to be taught from the 3-ring binder, what the official instruction was. He gave us something extra. He would give us real-life, practical knowledge that we could use as we moved forward in our lives. And so when I was working as an instructor, as a contract instructor for the military, I always wanted to, or always attempted when I gave a class, whether, like I said, in a formal classroom setting or out in the field doing land navigation or out on the range, I always attempted to give the students something extra, a little bit more than they, quote unquote, had paid for, a little more than I was required to. Now, you can apply that. I mean, in my particular situation, it's to training and instruction, but you can apply that to the pickle. You guys have probably all heard to, give them the pickle. What is that? People buy a sandwich and chips and a drink, and they get a pickle wedge, and the pickle wedge is no charge, it's free. And that has become a business technique. Give them the pickle. Over the years, I've ordered products from several companies, and I get the box and I open the box up, and not only is the product that I ordered inside of the box, but there's a little something extra. It could be a sticker or a bottle opener or a patch or a note or like a little card or something, some little extra thing. One company in particular that I'm thinking of right now, I looked forward to ordering from them because I knew, based on experience, that there'd be something different in the box every time I placed an order. Some new little pickle, right? Some little lagniappe, a special little gift that I wasn't expecting, and it was just added on as a bonus. So you want to be a productive individual, you want to be a successful individual, you want to be a successful person in your career, in your business, whether you're dealing with customers or students or the troops, what have you. Take the time to give them the lagniappe. Give them that little something extra, something more than you had to. You say go the extra mile. If you go from biblical times, go the extra mile. Give them that little something extra. And, from my personal standpoint, going back and thinking, I was in infantry school several decades ago. And here I am today in front of the black carbon steel microphone 30 years later, and I still remember right now Sergeant Fred Sizemore and the fact that he gave us as young students something extra. He did more than what was required of him, and I remember it 30 years later. So that really is the effect of the lagniappe. That is the effect of giving people something extra, a little bit more than they expected. You never know how long it will go or how far it will go. And there could be people who, frequent your business or frequent one of your seminars or sit in front of you and listen. And years from now, they'll say, I've been to a lot of training, listened to a lot of people talk, a lot of instructors and teachers, but that one guy, that one woman, they really gave us something extra. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today. Go forth and give them the lagniappe, give them the pickle, give them a little something extra. I am your host, Paul Markel, and I will talk to you again real soon.
Thank you for spending time with us today. To get show notes, submit a topic request, and for more from your host, Paul G. Markel, visit morningmindsetpodcast.com. That's morningmindsetpodcast.com. Please leave a review for this podcast on your favorite podcast player. We appreciate your time and effort, and we look forward to reading your honest feedback.